If we start with a minor pentatonic and we add the natural minor, your Phrygian, your Dorian, and we see what happens when they all start on the same note. We can do some cool little theory. We're going to see how it all unfolds. We're going to tie it back to the circle of fifths. But that's enough talking. Let's first make sure we know all the scales we're going to talk about. Now, I'm going to say it at the end as well. Keep in mind that your A minor pentatonic for this study is your center position, or your reference point rather. In other words, everything's going to get compared to it, and I'm sure you know the scale. It's diagram number 1 on the PDF, so please make sure you have the PDF, a copy of that as well. Okay, step 2, we're going to go from that and we're going to add the natural minor scale. Now you'll see, if you look at the diagram 1 and diagram 2 in step 1 and 2, you'll see there's some dark blue notes, so we add them to it, and then the names of the notes are to the right of each diagram as well. So now we're going to go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, and why not go past into the next octave? If we had more strings, we'd go further. Okay, so that's your natural minor, also known as the Aeolian mode. If you don't know any of these scales, I'd suggest you go learn them all first of all, otherwise the last few steps aren't going to make as much sense as I'd like it to. And now, step 3. This is also a minor related mode starting on A, but it's the Dorian. It's going to start on A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D. So it's got one note that's different. It's got the F sharp. And again, if you look to the right of each diagram, you can see that there's the natural minor goes A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, and the Dorian goes A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A. Just for the comparisons, very, very important. Next up, we're going to look at the Phrygian mode. Now this one starts with a semitone interval, again from the note A, and it goes A, B flat, C, D, E, F, G, A. And then you're going to have another B flat here for the second octave. So it's quite an unusual scale. It starts with a semitone. Now the reason why we call these minor related is if we build an arpeggio, an A minor arpeggio starting on A, and you know your arpeggio shapes, I'm sure you'll know these notes. Okay, you know those notes. Now you'll find those notes inside the Aeolian. There it is. There we go. So this arpeggio shape is inside the scale. It's also inside the Dorian. And it's also inside the Phrygian. And then we're going to get to the next step. What happens if we combine them? Now on this video, even though it's not that long, we can actually start building a lot more theory into this whole thing. But for starters, we just want to make sure we know all the minor related shapes. We want to know that they're called minor related because we can build the minor arpeggio on the first note of each of these scales we've talked about. And now we're going to combine them. So you're taking A, that's from the Phrygian, that's from the Dorian, and it goes quite cool. Oh, I forgot a note there. See if you can find it, which one. Okay, you got which notes are left out, eh? Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Quite a cool sound to the whole thing. Now what's quite nice with this now, if I know where my chromatic runs are, I can start getting to make sense out of the whole thing. And the reason why I say make sense of it is I know that the notes, remember this? That's your natural minor, or sorry, your pentatonic of the natural minor, and I can go, and I've got a little chromatic phrase here. And they're not just random chromatic, they actually come from a logical place. And when I say logical place, is they're coming from the 3 modes we just talked about. The Aeolian, again, from the Dorian, Hear the subtle one note difference, the Phrygian. Sorry. Okay, and we've got those three modes. Each of them has got a note that's different. So if you take them all out, if you take out all the notes that separate, in other words, if you ditch all the B's and B flats, which obviously separate the Phrygian from the Dorian and the Aeolian, and if I take the F's and F sharps out, in other words, I take the F sharp out and the F, which separates the Dorian from the Aeolian and also the Phrygian as well, I'd end up with this again. And this you can see if you look at the note row next to each of the diagrams. You can see the notes come in, you can see the combined notes, you can see which notes are taken out. And then lastly, at the bottom it says combining the three modes. There you can see the dark blue notes happen to be that minor pentatonic. And remember at the beginning of the video I said we'll have a central reference. So if you're doing like a little blues riff or something like that, the little note there, that's from your Phrygian, for example. Now I'm taking that from my Dorian, from the Aeolian. There I used a bit of both. Used the Aeolian and the Dorian there. So as you start using your minor pentatonic as your central place working from, you'll notice you can start adding the. I can start building combinations, passing notes, and passing notes being the criteria. Now also something is interesting as well. When we had the Dorian, we spoke about the F sharp. So if you take the notes A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, you actually got the key of G major. And if you go to your circular fifths, if you look at the key of C, you've got a little circle over there. Okay, imagine the circle. Okay, oval, circle. Right at the top is the C major key. And if you go, you're going to have G. Okay, because G's got one sharp. Okay, if I went to the Phrygian, Phrygian has got the notes A, B flat, C, starting all on A obviously, because you have to cross-reference them. A, B flat, C, D, E, F, G. You're going to have the key of F major, because F major's got one flat and it's B flat. Okay, and if you go to your circular fifths, circle again, okay, and you go the other way now, you'd have the key of F. So what we're also learning from this, if you think of the key of C major as your central point, you can go from C major to G or to F. C's got no sharps and flats. One sharp, F sharp, A, Dorian. Over here, one flat, A, Phrygian. So what you're doing is you are modulating, you are changing key, but it's just nice to see the maths play out in the circular fifths, to see how the maths works. And this, as we said, allows us to get this cool, nice little chromatic, nice little bass phrases with chromatic balls in between. Otherwise we're stuck with the pentatonic. I hope this sort of makes sense. I know it's a lot to keep in mind, but the system of things, or the sequence of things I want you to know. First, learn the minor pentatonic, learn the natural minor, learn the Dorian, learn the Phrygian. You must play the notes, play the scales, and then combining them to see what separates them, what's in common to them, and then you can understand another way or another approach on how you can build your chromatic rhymes, your chromatic phrases. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to call me. Otherwise, I hope you enjoy this. Take care.